Welcome to the Intentional Athlete Podcast, where strength is more than a number on the bar. I'm your host, Ross Lela, powerlifter, coach, and co-creator of the Intentional Athlete Experience. This show is for lifters, movers, and seekers who know that what happens in the gym echoes into your life. We explore how to train with purpose, live with clarity, and channel the pursuit of strength into something deeper, something transformative. Each episode, we'll dive into conversation, tools, and insights that help you align your mindset, body, and spirit. Because real growth doesn't just happen under the barbell. It happens in your mind, in your breath, and in your choices. This is about more than just PRs. This is about presence, power, and progress that lasts. Welcome to the journey, my friend. Welcome to the Intentional Athlete Podcast. Hey, what's up, my friends? Welcome to the Intentional Athlete Podcast. Just a little bit of a monologue episode today. I had to move and shuffle a whole lot of stuff this week and had to cancel or will reschedule with the guest I had lined up for this week. At a moment, wanted to take an opportunity to put something together. In powerlifting, it's very common for people to go, oh, that's really heavy. That's really heavy. And we hear the additive from, or at least us coaches talk about, well, good, it's supposed to be heavy. And that's true. If we're on this pursuit of how much weight can I put on the bar, how big can I make that 1RM, it has to be heavy. That's the whole point. We want it to be heavy. So part of that skill that we're cultivating to reach what that potential 1RM can be and achieve and get as close as possible to the fullest expression of that physical potential, it has to be heavy. And we're cultivating the skill of doing that hard thing anyway. That we're cultivating that skill to move through space skillfully while under an immense amount of pressure. And that's part of that's part of the point. That's part of the journey. That's part of the process. It's part of the thing that we are chasing and cultivating and trying to reach and achieve and create in this path and in this pursuit of powerlifting. It's not something that you see really in other sports. Now, sure, there's definitely similar expressions of doing hard things well and doing hard things with skill. Absolutely. But it's, always a little bit different based on the sport from, football is really hard. Weightlifting can be really hard. All kinds of different sports can be really hard. Bodybuilding can be really hard, but they're different hards. And one of the things that's really important, I think, particularly from an intentional training aspect, is we're growing and cultivating skills all the time. Every training session, every microcycle, every macrocycle, we're cultivating different skills, especially when we're doing it intentionally and we're paying attention. And then we ask ourselves, what and how can I apply these skills outside of life? And this week, that's been really helpful. And I just want to share a little bit of that with you to show that in action. I'll spare you a lot of details because there's a lot of mess and some of it kind of sucks. Last week on Friday, one of our guests had clogged a toilet in our rental property and flooded it. There's water everywhere, lots of damage. Okay, so first thing, the leak stops. At least when I got there, it had already stopped. So I don't need to get a plumber there to stop the water intrusion that's already stopped. I need to get a remediation team over there to start containing all this whatever and start cleaning it up. They get over there, they assess the severity of the situation, they provide a quote to do the remediation work and all this stuff, and they start that. And well, then they start that, and and mind you, I'm going to spare contractor names, because it's an ongoing, developing situation currently as we speak. This week has been just wild. I've been having to deal with it multiple hours a day, every single day. And so they start this process to remove the contaminants. And since it was a toilet bowl that backed up, it is a type 3 contamination, which means it can't be regular clean water could just be dried, where this is dirty water. It needs to be removed and replaced. So that like changes how you go about things. When they start this remediation process and they start ripping up carpet and flooring and all this stuff and drywall and blah, blah, blah. And I like checked on things and things didn't quite seem right. There was, some spidey senses going on, but I just wasn't quite sure. And I'm just trying to remind myself like, hey, these are the experts. They know what they're doing. It's fine. It's going to be good. We're all right. The next day I had another contractor come over to quote the rebuild. And the way he responded to the environment was a little unsettling. So I contacted another contractor and asked this person like, hey, what would your process be if you were to start from this project? And a couple of things stood out. And the main one being would like cover the uncontaminated areas, like put plastic over things to keep other contaminants from keep the contaminants from contaminating the uncontaminated. Oh, makes sense. Cool. Duh. That's the problem. Why the fuck did this contractor not do that? Oh my gosh. So I had to go and fire that contractor and relinquish them of their duties because they were not protecting and caring for the property and stuff that was clean. And this is all like, it's high stress, it's high pressure. All this stuff is just like piling on and piling on and piling on. And this whole time I keep reminding myself that, hey, you can navigate really hard squats and really hard lifts with skill. You can navigate this really hard situation right now that is seemingly unsurmountably pressurizing on you with skill. You can do that. And like using those moments from training to help me have that confidence to go into those situations, to go into that conversation with that contractor, to let them know that they're relieved of their duties. Knowing that, hey, this is going to be an uncomfortable moment. There's going to be a lot of intense feelings and pressures inside my body and all that stuff. So what? This is what I got to do. You're fired. Goodbye. You're hired. Let's get started. All those different things had to happen. And reminding myself that, hey, you have the skill. You've cultivated those skills in your training to serve you in this moment in your life. And like, on reflection, there's a lot of points that I can think about through this whole situation. Like another one backing up when dealing with the guests that were staying with us. I was able to treat them with kindness, even though like they clogged the toilet, they made a mess. It ran all night long. There's tons of water all over the place. I didn't yell at them. I didn't call them names. It was just, okay, well, first things first, we got to get you relocated. Let's get on with support and get you relocated. Let's get you taken care of. Right? Like, how do we take care of people? Because stuff can get fixed and all that stuff. And so like reflecting on all these moments, thinking about that, like, cool. That like reminding myself of that allowed me to go through in those moments with skill and tact and care and regard in ways that on reflection I can be really proud of. And that's like training with intention. When we do that intentionally in training and we think about how can I apply this to that spot in my life and pull from that and draw from that moment for inspiration, we can respond to the unfolding of life with skill and action and words that we can be proud of, even when things get shitty, literally in this case, shitty. And then as well, reminding myself like, hey, look, this isn't what you want to be dealing with. I get that. And while this situation isn't fun and there's a significant amount of damage that needs to get repaired and all these things, like there's other worse things going on right now. And this is a good problem. Like it's not something that I can't recover from. It's not something that we can't recover from. It's not something that is just a current like inconvenience that we'll get over and we'll get past. Like, yeah, there's some navigating that still needs to be done on some more details of silliness. However, like thinking about the things that went on in Texas and I think North Carolina, I forget if it was North Carolina or South Carolina. It's all so many things all over this week, so forgive me on that. But that's a real problem. That's intense. That's really impacting people. And it's just the reminder to me as well in that moment to be grateful that it's just some drywall that got hurt and not people and not humans. And I can recover from this. It's not that big of a deal, even though in the moment, a lot of times it feels really heavy, kind of like how sometimes in lifting, it'll feel heavier than what it actually is, right? It's supposed to feel heavy. It's okay. And we can work through it skillfully anyways. We've been cultivating the ability to do hard things in our training all the time. We can do hard things skillfully in our life all the time. I'll leave you with that. Navigate your training with intentionality, and you will gain more from your training than just PRs. Have a great day, my friend. Train intentionally.